I'm David Parrott. I'm from Du Bois, Pennsylvania, and I'm finishing my PhD at Indiana University of Pennsylvania in communications media. This is my study.
And I'm Barbara Simpson. I teach German at the Clearfield High School, not too far from Du Bois, and I've been teaching 28 years there. Dave and I talked about which areas of the city would work the best for my students, and we have just recently completed a chapter using the train system and going to a train station and purchasing tickets. They've also had a chapter going to a campground, and one going to a restaurant. And so we chose that plus a hotel situation, and then I wrote up a dialogue for 5 to 6 people in a group.
We originally started doing the police station one also, but they hadn't done the vocabulary to that very well, so we stuck with 4 different areas that they had worked on over the course of the year. Basically, you know, the hotel, the camping plots, the restaurant for getting food, and so we planned together to make a sim where we could do food as well and order food, and then the railway station and so on.
And I tried to make the dialogue, I wrote it in English so that they would have to translate everything in their mind into German. I tried to make it a little vague so they would have some liberty to change the words and say things the way that they were able to say it. The first time they did it was kind of slow, and the students were really struggling with some of the vocabulary, but almost every day we did it, they were able to go through the complete dialogue at least 2 times, and they had to trade roles so that one person might be a parent in one time, they might be the hotel desk operator or a waitress the second time through, and so they would learn vocabulary from each other, and each time it got better and better.
I went to the school a couple weeks before. First we had your email and we sent that to the tech staff and they installed everything. And then I went to the school about a week and a half before we started up and went over, checked things, and I found that there were some computers that hadn't been installed on, but it was generally pretty well done. But that also let me get to know the tech staff and get things ready. And then when we got there, we spent a whole day taking each class through carefully. And they first went to your sim that has the castle, I can't think of the name. Yeah. And they did the practice walking and flying, and they found new avatar clothes and stuff in the basement I didn't even know about, or in the lower levels. But the orientation, I think, was very important, because then they understood, you know, how to get into the world, how to use a headset and everything else. And then for the first lesson, within probably 10 or 15 minutes, everybody was talking and everybody was interacting.
Most of the students have played video games before and done things similar to that, so some of them were immediately flying around and running and trying to get into vehicles and sitting down, and to them it was like a game and they really enjoyed it. And a few people who were not real good at it, it took them a little bit longer, but not, you know, by the end of the first period they were very good.
Even the ones that hadn't had gaming experience, and I noticed when they were doing the surveys, we gave a survey at the end of the study, most of the girls had not done Avatar 3D stuff and said no to any gaming experience. But they seemed to understand the interface almost way quicker than adults would, even though they hadn't been in gaming situations.
As far as learning, I think you would still need to do the introductory material in a classroom, but as far as applying and the students using it, I think almost every one of them said that they enjoyed it better in the virtual world, and they thought that they were more comfortable and did it a lot better, and they learned from each other, and I really hope to use this again next year. I have a lot of students who are very shy, and if I ask them to do that in front of the classroom, they would just sit there and not say a word. But to be able to stand on a street or in a building as an avatar and not even be facing the real person that they're talking to, it was like they forgot what they were doing and just concentrated on the task that they were assigned to do.
Yeah, I think what Barbara's saying about them being comfortable, and also one of the things in my study is, do they learn from each other? And in the interviews, many of the students said it's fun because we often interact with the teacher, but we don't get in groups and interact with each other because we're afraid to talk out loud or something. And so this gave them a relaxed atmosphere to talk to each other. And I noticed a lot of coaching of, like one student would say, like someone couldn't remember the word for a chair or a food or something like that, or a ticket at the railway station. Other students would help that person learn. And that's very much along the lines of what the study was looking for.
These were students in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, so they were mostly 16, 17, and 18 years old. I'm very excited about it. I intend to use this at the end of every chapter and to create a similar assignment pertaining to the vocabulary and culture lesson and let them do the same exact thing.
There were technical issues a little bit when they first started going, and one of the things that was interesting, I think Barb would have noticed this also, is students who were better with technical things would say, like if someone's voice wasn't working, that was a common problem. Other students would say, did you turn your button on your microphone off, or turn your button on? Or go to preferences, make sure that your headset is enabled. And so within just a day or two, they were debugging the software and also the hardware, which I thought you'd have to have a technical person do. But there was almost always someone in the group who was good enough to say, oh, if you just go here and do this, you'll be right back up.
One thing that would be helpful for me to use this in a regular classroom situation would be to be able to record each group, because my classes sometimes were very large. 26 was my largest class. They had to go to different areas, and I could only listen to one group at a time or record one group at a time.
I think it might be something she would check out further in the future, is how to maybe record individual sessions, maybe from each group, to go from one group to another through the course of the class.
I just really enjoyed the whole experience, and it made my last couple of days of the school year very fun for my students. They really enjoyed coming to the computer lab and doing this.